Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, October 4th. All eyes continue to focus on major Hurricane Matthew. It has now hit the southwestern tip of Haiti. Haiti will undergo a devastating blow over the next 12 hours or so as this storm slowly churns to the north. It will then try to scoot between eastern Cuba and Haiti and head on into the Bahama Islands chain. Looks like it'll churn to the north and west over the next couple of days and come very close to the southeast U.S. coastline. Really anywhere from the east coast of central Florida will be impacted by this storm all the way up to, let's say, Virginia Beach as it runs parallel to the coast from east central Florida all the way to the North Carolina Outer Banks. Whether it has an impact here in the D.C., Philly, New York City corridor this weekend is still a 50-50 shot. Even if there is an offshore track for this storm, which seems likely once it gets north of the latitude of the Outer Banks, let's say, it still can have an impact here with some rain and wind this weekend. But what is quite certain is that the southeastern U.S. will be impacted by Matthew over the next few days. Here's the very latest colorized infrared satellite imagery loop from the Penn State EWOL site. You can see the eye of Matthew as it crosses right over the southwestern tip of Haiti. This is Haiti right in this area right here, eastern tip of Cuba. It is seems to be weakening a bit as it crosses over the tip of southwestern Haiti. It should then try to scoot between Cuba and Haiti as it heads northwest into the Bahama Island chain. And again, it'll come very close to the east coast of Florida from, let's say, central Florida on north, and then kind of run parallel to the southeast U.S. coastline for the next couple of days, all the way to around the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Well, a couple of other items I want to point out here before we leave the infrared satellite imagery loop. This spin in the atmosphere right here could ultimately become Tropical Storm Nicole, and right here on the eastern edge of this particular image view is another band of showers and thunderstorms. That ultimately could become a tropical storm, perhaps Otto, over the next week to 10 days or so. Well, let's go to the National Hurricane Site to get the very latest readings on Matthew. Here is the location of Matthew and the very latest 8 a.m. Category 4, still 145 miles maximum sustained winds. And again, Haiti is going to suffer a devastating blow being on the right side of the track. That is usually where the rain and wind is most intense, and the storm surge could be most severe as well on the right side of a northward moving hurricane. Movement is to the north at 9 miles per hour, still a slow mover, and it'll slowly churn north through that water area between Cuba and Haiti and then into the Bahama Islands chain. Here's the location for Nicole. It could ultimately become a tropical storm over the next few days. Now here's the latest official track by the National Hurricane Center. And again, right now it is a major hurricane right in this region right here over the southwestern tip of Haiti. It'll continue likely as a major hurricane. I could see it weakening to a Category 2, but it's likely to be either a 3 or a 4 as it crosses over the eastern tip of Cuba and then into the Bahama Island chain. Again, all indications are that it'll come very close to the east central coast of Florida and then pretty much ride parallel to the southeast U.S. coastline to right around the Outer Banks region, affecting the area from, let's say, Virginia Beach all the way down to east central Florida. Whether it ultimately affects the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philly to New York City still remains somewhat uncertain. It will likely turn northeast at this stage, stay off the mid-Atlantic coastline, but that doesn't mean we are not going to get any impact. Even with an offshore track, we still could get some rain and wind around here in the D.C., Philly, New York City corridor somewhere later Saturday night time frame. Now, the most likely scenario for the strongest stage for the hurricane as it's close to the southeast U.S. coast is when it's just on the east side or right near the coastline of South and North Carolina. This is where Matthew may regain some strength and sit and spin for a while. So again, the southeast U.S. coastline from Florida all the way up to North Carolina will certainly get impacted, it appears, from Hurricane Matthew. Well, let's take a look at the European forecast model from last night's 0Z run. This is a 48-hour forecast for tomorrow night, Wednesday night. And by this time, the European model has Matthew riding northwest through the Bahama Island chain. And the European model has had a pretty good handle of the situation. So we're going to show that right here over the next couple of minutes. Again, this is the 48-hour forecast from last night. Let's now jump ahead another 24 hours here. And here's the forecast map, the 72-hour forecast map for Thursday night. Dangerously close to the east central coast of Florida. Again, quite an impact along the east central coastline here as it continues to move to the north and west and affects certainly the east coast of central Florida. By this time, this is again the Thursday night forecast. Let's now jump out another 24 hours. And here we go. Some intensification again between Georgia and the Carolina coastline. Matthew may regain some strength here as it rides generally parallel to the coastline from east central Florida to the Georgia east coast and then the Carolina coastline. If it makes landfall as a major hurricane, category 3 or above, and that certainly is within the realm of possibility, that would be the first major hurricane that actually comes ashore anywhere in the U.S. since Hurricane Wilma of late October 2005. That's been really an unprecedented streak without a major hurricane hitting U.S. soil since record keeping began way back in the middle 1800s. So again, this is the forecast map, comes very close to the coastline, but generally runs parallel to the coastline from Florida up across Georgia east coast and then into the Carolinas. Let's jump ahead another 24 hours. Here we go, right near the southeast coastline of North Carolina. Again, certainly impacting the eastern sections of North and South Carolina at this time. Not necessarily raining up here in the I-95 corridor north and east of D.C., but certainly all the way up to Virginia Beach. It looks like you can count on some rain and wind. And again, there's a 50-50 shot at some rain and wind here. It all depends on a westward trough that will move eastward into the northeast U.S. Exactly the timing of that gives us a 50-50 shot at getting some rain and wind here over the weekend. Let's go out another 24 hours. And ultimately, the European model consistently has pushed this north and east, sparing the I-95 corridor from D.C. to New York City with anything significant in terms of rain and wind. The GFS is hugging the Mid-Atlantic coastline a little bit more than the European model, and hence has a much higher likelihood for some rain and wind here later Saturday night into Sunday. But for now, what we know is Haiti will suffer a devastating blow today, and then Matthew will churn north and west and do some damaging things to the Bahama Island chain, then come very close to the southeast coastline from east central Florida, kind of parallel the coast all the way to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Stay tuned to VencoreWeather.com for updates later today. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.